how's it going, everybody? My name is Magnum Martel, and welcome back to another episode of Story Time. That's right, it's the first of the month. It's that time again, and I get to tell you another story. So what am I talking about today? Well, excuse me. I don't know where the fuck that came from. Last episode of Story Time, I told you about the worst manager I ever had. The bitch that tried to get me to work for an extra 2 hours off the clock, unpaid. Well, this time, today, I'm going to tell you about the way that I lost a previous job unfairly. The time I was wrongfully terminated. You know, here's something you need to understand. In the case of most places, most of the states here in the United States are a right-to-work state. And a right-to-work state basically has a law in place that makes it so an employer can fire you for any fucking reason they want to at any time, as long as it is not based on any discriminatory factors such as race, sex, religion, ideology. You get the drift. Well, a lot of times they'll fire you for those anyway. They just won't say it's for that. And this is one thing that's always got to me about our society here in America. We live in a society, blah, blah, blah. You know the fucking meme. Employers will fire you for any reason regardless. It doesn't matter right-to-work state or not. They're just going to lie about the why. They're not going to tell you the truth. Of course not. Of course an employer is not going to tell you, I fired you because I don't like your face. No, they're going to say, I fired you because you did this thing, even though you didn't do this thing, and there's no proof you did this thing, but I say you did this thing, so that's how it's going to fucking be. You can deal with it. Suing in these cases, it never fucking works. There's nothing you can do. There's really no such thing as a wrongful termination in the legal sense. Now, there is wrongful termination in every other sense. It's just that the law doesn't see it. The law doesn't fucking care about you or your problems or the fact that they fired you because they don't like your fucking face. Well, anyway, on to the story. So this happened only about 2 years ago now, actually. This was one of the previous jobs I'd had shortly before where I'm currently employed. I was working at a gas station. This gas station was one of my favorite places to work for a couple of different reasons. I lived right up the street from it. I'm not kidding. I would wait. I would work 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. when I worked there. I was a night shifter. I still am a night shifter. But there, it was the one place I actually liked doing it. Because I would walk out of my house at exactly 9:58. I would walk to work, and I would clock in at exactly 10 o'clock. It was fucking great. I didn't have to rush. I didn't have to hurry. I had more time to do whatever the hell I want because I didn't have to drive for 30 minutes just to get to work. I liked my job. I liked my coworkers. I had no problems there until the new manager took over. Now, I actually worked inside the Subway within the building. Well, now, I wasn't an employee of Subway itself. I was an employee of the gas station. This gas station, which was a local chain owned by a small company in the region, it basically employed you. It just franchised part of its building out. Now, most of its buildings had a grill. This one in particular was too small. The building, actually, that this place was built in used to be a hotel, and then it was a car wash when I was a kid. It was not a very busy car wash, but it was a car wash. My friends and I, when I was, I want to say, maybe 8, would go play in the parking lot there. It was hell of a time. Well, this place was turned into a gas station, and I frequented this station since it opened. I'd been trying to get a job there forever, but it was really, really hard to get a fucking job there. I don't know why it took me so long. At one point, it was because the previous manager did not get along with me. She did not like me personally because I was good friends with somebody that used to work there and left because she treated him like shit. So she just was refusing to hire me, but she wouldn't say it to my face. And, I mean, to tell you the truth, I think she was afraid of me because I had made it pretty fucking clear at one point that I wasn't going to take her attitude. That's probably another reason she didn't want me, because I stood up to her when I was just a customer and she was being a cunt. Well, anyway, she had ended up leaving and no longer worked there. So I saw my golden opportunity and I got in there and I was trying to get hired. Of course, it's a pain in the ass to get hired at this place. I hate online job applications. I really do. My experience with online job applications is terrible. I have almost never been hired off of an online application. Paper apps, I almost always get hired. But online, it's almost like they never even see it. It pisses me off so much. And then they have a time limit on them. And then even when you've applied to a position, most fucking places, their website's like, oh, you've already applied for this. Yeah, but my application went out because it's been 6 months. I'll tell you the truth, that place has the laziest goddamn hiring process. They will put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off as long as possible. They do not like to hire people. Anyway, so the HR woman from the corporate office was there, so I went in and I was able to talk to her, and she basically told me that I was hired on the fucking spot. She loved me. I don't know what it was, but for some reason, she dug the Big Daddy Magnum. So I went through all my processes to sell liquor and shit, because they did have a beer cooler there. You had to have a license for that. Gotta fucking love that. All that happy horse shit. And I was finally working there, and I was overnights, and they had me in the subway. I had no problems working there. I loved it working there. The only thing I hated about that place was that my coworker Kevin was lazy as fuck. I would come in and he would just leave me a fucking mess. But by morning, I would have that place organized and clean, and I had served customers all night. There were fucking people that came in from a local bar down the street for fucking strip shows. The owner would literally hire strippers from the city to come to his bar and dance for his customers, and he'd have a big old spectacle about it. I actually wanted to go to one of those shows once, but I was always fucking working when it happened. Well, anyway, some time passed, and we got a new manager. This woman's name was Melissa. Well, Melissa had some conflict with one of my relatives, that being my mother, because fucking everybody has conflict with my fucking mother for some goddamn reason. And when she found out who my mother was, she immediately started treating me like garbage. She was rude to me all the time, she was nasty, and I just had to put up with it. Well, one day, she decided to call me back into the office and say that a customer had complained about my language. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. I did not filter myself very heavily while I was working there. If I knew the person who was standing in front of me and there was nobody else in the building besides people I knew, I would not censor my language, you know? And I know you're supposed to conduct yourself with professionalism. That's how everybody is, you know? There's nothing wrong with saying fuck every once in a while when you're talking to your buddy. I'd see somebody I went to school with, and I'd act totally fucking normal. I'd sit there and chit-chat with them and small talk while I was making his fucking sandwich. Other customers seemed to like it that I made small talk. I had a couple customers admit to me that they started only coming in when I was working because they liked that I actually spoke to them instead of just made the food. That's what you get for being a friendly guy, and I'd actually made a couple of tips doing that. Well, she says that a customer complained about my language and she wrote me up for it. So fine, what the fuck ever, I don't really give a shit. I know I didn't do nothing wrong. I tried to fight it, didn't matter. Well, a couple months in, she had hired one of her friends to work the other counter, to work the actual gas station part of the place. She wanted to promote her friend to management. Well, lo and behold, the corporate woman who had hired me decided that I was doing such a damn good job and that they had gotten such glowing fucking reviews from my place. The fact that this was the first time this particular Subway had ever passed its fucking Subway corporate inspection was when I was working there. She decided she wanted to make me the Subway manager, which is fucking amazing. You know, so you had three managers. You had the store manager who's in charge of the whole place. You had the gas station's manager, and then you had the Subway manager. That was how it fucking operated. Well, she didn't like that very much because she wanted to promote her friend and she didn't like me. So what did she start doing? She started sending her kids and her friends that she did crack with. Actually, I don't know if she did crack. I'm pretty sure she did. She was a drug addict. She had a reputation for being a drug addict. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, anyway, she would start sending them in to make false complaints about me, and it kept happening, it kept happening, it kept happening. And finally, one day, she calls me into the office, and she says to me that corporate has decided to terminate my position. Now, I knew that was bullshit. I knew that was bullshit right then and there. But I've always been told by pretty much everybody growing up that if they tell you you're fired, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do is my mother's favorite phrase. Always has been, always will be. She's a lay down and take it. There's nothing else you can do about it. Me, well, I mean, there's a lot of things I can do about it. Not all of them legal, but I can certainly argue. That's for damn sure. There's always something you can do about it. It's not the question of can you do it, it's should you do it, and is it the correct course of action? Depending on what it is, usually the answer is no. But a lot of times, sometimes, it's the only answer. Like my grandpappy used to say, some people just need a good old-fashioned punch in their fucking face. Well, me, I went on home, and I was real upset. I was pissed off. I turned my uniforms in the next morning. I was still pissed off. I actually quit going there for a very, very long time until they fired her because they caught her stealing. I was wrongfully terminated because some bitch wanted to hire or promote her friend to manager, and the people above her decided they wanted to give it to me. I was wrongfully terminated because she had her friends and her 2 daughters come in and make false complaints about me. No matter how much I behaved myself, no matter how good I did, never mind the fact that I kept that place operational most of the time, I was going to be fucked. There was absolutely no way I was going to win because she was cheating the system. She couldn't fire me, so she sent people to make false complaints until that she had a reason to fire me. Now here's the part that gets me about this story. The day she fired me, she tells me that she's had customer complaints about my mouth, my language, and the quality of my food. 3 things that I knew for a fact were not true because she had tried this once before, and since the first write-up I had stopped speaking the way I had been speaking. I had started just making idle small talk and being very polite. Rather than actually engaging in conversation, I would be very dismissive. Or I would only respond when necessary. And people I knew saw this, and they knew it was weird. And I told them the truth. It's because I've already been in trouble for my language once, so I have to be more careful. And they were not happy about it, but they understood. I had to protect myself more than talk to them. But then, someone who worked there comes up to me one day, as I was walking down the street past the place, and he says to me, "Hey, is it true that you were flirting with such and such while you were working there?" And I was like, "What? No! Bitch was fucking ugly. Well, I wouldn't flirt with her anyway, but that's not the point. The point was, no, I was at work. Why would I do that?" And he goes, "Oh, well, everybody's saying that you were sexually harassing her and that's why you got fired." And I'm like, no, that's not it. They told me I was fired because of customer complaints about my language. And then a few months later, the same accusation, but with a different person. My buddy, my cousin, Blake, who was now the subway manager in my place, said to me, see, Melissa told her I had gotten fired for flirting with, for sexually harassing another girl who worked there. And I was like, why is it that there is 2 different people I've been accused of sexually harassing, but then the thing that I was actually fired for by her was for customer complaints? And then he decides to snoop around. He poked around a little and he checked the office and he found the file. Turns out the real reason I was fired was because I forgot to clean the fucking oven one night. That was the official reason. The official reason was because I wasn't doing my job properly, on paper. So here we had an official reason that didn't match with the reason I was given. Here we had 2 separate rumors of 2 different things, 2 different people that didn't match the reason I was told. And the reason I was told. So we've got 4 different things that were all supposedly why I was fired. And everyone's heard a different one. Everyone was told something different. Big Daddy Magnum was 100% wrongfully terminated from that position. And to this day, 2 years later, despite the fact that I have another job, which I absolutely fucking hate, I'm still fucking mad about it. Because the bitch not only got away with it, she was only fired because she got caught stealing. But they won't rehire me, despite the fact that I have multiple people who have proven and stood up for me and said that I was wrongfully terminated. All because the guy who owns the place doesn't like to rehire people who have left, even if they put in their 2-week notice and quit. I still go over there. I still get sandwiches for lunch sometimes. And everybody always says to me, you know, I miss when you worked here because shit got done. I wish they would rehire you because you'd actually run shit better around here. I miss when you work night shift because you did your fucking job. And every time I just say, you know what happened. But that's my story, ladies and gentlemen. Big Daddy Magnum was wrongfully terminated from position. That was the first time I had ever been wrongfully terminated, to tell you the truth. Most other jobs I'd either quit of my own volition or I left before they could wrongfully terminate me because I saw it coming. That was only the case of the last place, though. Most of the time, I left of my own volition because I either saw it coming or I hated that place. I don't know what it is about me. Maybe it's because I'm a brash and abrasive man who don't give no flying fucks, who will talk up to just about anybody. I don't care who you are. President of the United States, almighty fucking God. If you talk to me a certain way, I'm going to be the first person to go, now who the fuck do you think you're talking to? And then when you think you're talking to me, I'm going to remind you who the fuck you're talking to. Tell you the truth, it's not a very likable personality trait, but it's how I was raised to be. Because I don't like to be walked all over. And you know what? Being walked all over for the majority of my life, being mistreated. That's why I became like this. That's why I don't give no flying fucks. It's why I'll be the first person to tell somebody to hit the bricks. It's why I'll be the first person to hit somebody with a fucking brick. But alright, thanks for watching, everybody. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought about my story. Feel free to check out the rest of the Storytime playlist. I have got some absolute doozies on there. And I will see you in the next video. It's May 1st. It's time for me to go play some motherfucking Titanfall.